What makes Apple the most profitable, has the most capital in the entire world?
Profit. Money.
Creativity. Creativity. I am so obsessed with creativity. I find it endlessly fascinating, and I research it, and I study it in myself and people around me. What makes us competitive? It's actually really important to know this, and how to control it, and how to make it repeatable. The reason why is because it's a competitive advantage. I've given you all a worksheet today. I know I didn't print out enough of them, but I'm sorry if people didn't get one.
You're eligible to get one.
Creativity is a competitive advantage. So for you to be able to leave today with 3 powerful creative tools, that's going to change your life. Today, I am going to change your lives, and I'm going to do it in the next 7 minutes. So let's dive right in. First of all, motivation is the #1 most important part of creativity. Now, I think I'm going to change the way you're thinking about creativity, because I think a lot of people go, oh, children are creative, and then school destroys it. Let's really look at the research. I've put together 3 points today that I've researched over many years. So motivation is the first key. And I think that a lot of us go through life as victims. We say, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Oh, things happen all the time that I don't have control over, right? But the truth is, we have control over our motivation. A lot of times I hear people, oh, I can't do that, I don't have time for it, or I can't get motivated. You have control. So what I want you all to do right now is close your eyes and think about a time in your past when you were extremely creative. It could have been in school, it could have been you were part of a book club, or a reading group, or a writing group. So think about it. Think about a time in your past where you were just creating and working hard. What was it that made you creative? Because you can recreate that time. You can change your schedule to have those things back in your life. You do not have to be a victim. Motivation is under your control, and you can control your motivation. Now for me, I am an addict of month-long projects. I have done novel writing month, I've done sketch writing month 2 times, I have done screenplay writing month. You give me a month and say, Bett, go do this, I will do it. I don't know if it's the peer pressure or just having a month dedicated to that, but I am so all over that. So those are what motivate me. So think about it. What motivated you in the past? Now, I want you guys to write an action step on your worksheet. How can you create that? What's the next step that you can do to create that back into your life? Now, moving on. You can't just control your motivation. You have to have one more piece, and that is willpower. In their amazing book called Willpower, Roy Baumeister and John Tierney talked about how willpower works. And a lot of people go, oh, willpower, that's just something you're born with, or, that's something for old people. That's the old generation that has willpower. But actually, willpower is one of the most incredible things, and you can actually develop it. They've shown that if you add something to your daily life, like a habit, such as speaking proper English, Cindy, if you concentrate on that every day and build it into your life, then that little bit of discipline that you're using will actually build up willpower. They did tests where they had somebody use proper English for a week, and then they came back in and they had to sit down and do like really difficult puzzles, and the people who had used the proper English for the whole week, they were actually able to stick it through and do those puzzles longer than the people who didn't have anything extra in their life. So sitting up straight, speaking properly, I think these month-long creative things that I do really help me, because it takes like probably a week or 2 for me to recover from writing a screenplay or writing a novel. But then after that, I am so productive. I'm so creative. It just flows out of me. So creating that willpower during those times really pays off. So think of something that you can do. What's a habit that you can add to your daily life to add willpower to your life? It will pay off. Now, the third powerful tool that I'm going to give you today that's going to change your life when you leave here is expertise. Now, let's go back to that myth. This child who's so creative. Think about it. Can they create a nuclear engine, a nuclear submarine? Can they discover a new kind of paint? Or write an app? The truth is, you have to be an expert to really create, especially now more than ever before. So I have given you a system, and I will tell you the 5 steps to become an expert right now. This is my patented, really, figure infinitive system. And this is the best way to become an expert in anything. And I've learned this because I'm trying to learn Chinese right now. I can tell you, I cannot be creative in Chinese. My Chinese is very bad, and I can write extremely poor sentences in Chinese. So until I become an expert by following my system, I will not be able to be creative. So let's go through it. Number 1, grow your network. You need to meet people in that area. So let's think about Chinese. I have to meet Chinese people or people who speak Chinese and talk to them. Number 2, I need to find mentors. These are people who will take the time and say, oh, you said that wrong, let me help you. These are people who care about me, and in your case, whatever it is that you're trying to become an expert at. And third, you have to read up, you have to study. You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to ask people how to say things. You actually have to do the work and read. Number 4, you need to ask questions. This is where, oh, when do I use this word? When do I do this particular piece? And number 5, you need to practice and teach. So as soon as I learn something, I'm like, oh, Julie, let me teach you how to say this in Chinese. She doesn't care anything about Chinese. But I still am like, I'm going to teach you. And of course, you have to practice. Now let me recap the 3 powerful tools that are going to change your life. Number 1, you're in control of your motivation. Find out how you can add back motivation to your life. Number 2, you need to build up your willpower by adding a new habit to your daily life. And number 3, work on your expertise. Children are not as creative as you think they are. And now I'd like to move on to our Toastmaster.
Thank you. Yeah. Great speech. Could I have